technology stocks. S&P 500 has a bullish continuation pattern. We'll show a trade for IONQ as an example. And dollar rally is pressuring gold and silver. Bitcoin could pull back more. All of this and more in today's market recap for MasterChartsTrading.com. This is Alexander. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others. If you have any comments, please don't forget to hit the comment and leave your comment. You can see I have a new computer, so I'm going to still try to figure out how it works, but overall, let's get to it. S&P 500 on this chart, SPX, I have marked, as always, I'm using my indicators. You can see this green, blue, red, and yellow lines. You can find out more about them by going in the description. On this chart, I want you to take a look at several things, several features, so to speak. And the feature number one is the following. So this is S&P 500. Notice where I'm hovering right now. This is February 2nd high. So if you are a subscriber, you will undoubtedly have already heard me pound this over your head that this February high needs to be taken out, needs to be overcome by closing above it for any kind of meaningful rally to continue. Indeed, we got this. This happened this week on 18th of May, yesterday, the Thursday. In fact, today we also have closed above this February 2nd high. I can remove the indicators just to make a point, and there it is. There is the close above the February 2nd high. Now, the next level of resistance, notice I'm not using my indicators. I'll explain, why that is right now. It's just, I just wanted to kind of show you what we're dealing with in general. Next level of resistance is right there, August 16th of 2022. So this is going back almost a year back. So this resistance is significant. And it also needs to be overcome for any kind of meaningful continuation to occur. In fact, let's look at weekly chart. So weekly meaning each candlestick is a week's worth of activity. Each one of those funny looking things is a week's worth of activity. I'm going to get rid of all of these drawings for now and just look at the chart. So this is a chart going back to 2022. Okay, so there is the February 2nd high from 2023, which we have now overcome. We have closed above it. This is the high I'm referring to from August of 2022. Why is it important? Because once we overcome that high, we will start making 52-week highs. So 52-week highs are always considered bullish. There is not a single analyst that I'm aware of, perhaps I'm wrong, make a comment, that would think that a 52-week high is not a good sign. Okay, so I think a 52-week high is always a good sign if you are bullish, if you think that the security, in this case S&P 500, will continue higher. So on this chart, I also marked several patterns. One pattern is this. This is again a weekly chart. So this is a week from May 1st, Monday, May 1st. I'm hovering over it. I'm going to turn off the drawings for now. So notice this Monday, May 1st candlestick. Then the Monday, May 8th candlestick. Notice it's a very small candlestick that is entirely within the previous week's candlestick range. Okay, so this is called an inside week. So the Monday, May 8th week was entirely within the previous week, and it's called inside week because it's literally inside the previous week. You can also think about it as a triangle consolidation. In fact, I drew it out. Okay, there it is in white. Last week, if you listen to my videos, I drew out this particular pattern. It's a triangle pattern. So if you study classical chart patterns, such as various triangles, various formations, flags, etc., usually the triangle is a continuation pattern. So we need to look on what was happening before this pattern occurred, and this pattern occurred at the top of a range. So we were moving higher. We had a triangle consolidation, and now this week we have a breakout above this triangle pattern. So we had a triangle pattern, we had a move up, now we have a continuation. So you can also see this orange looking arrows. I kind of just drew them in. So this is just to show you that a normal sort of estimate of where we are going to go is for this entire pattern that started in March of this year and sort of ended last week on May 8th to be duplicated on the upside. All right, so the heights of this pattern, the depth of this pattern is about, I don't know, we're just gonna make it 9% or 350 points. So it's quite reasonable to expect a similar duplication rather of this pattern to the upside. So I basically drew it in, and it's about here. So we're looking at S&P 500 4500. All right, so let's look at it now from a perspective of where that price will be, 4500, and notice that this level that was, we're just looking at this little pattern that started from March of this year, ended in last week, and we're looking at the breakout above this August 2022 highs. So we're looking at 52-week highs, and always, I think you can say quite often or almost always, once the security hits 52-week highs, it continues to hit 52-week highs. All right. So looking at S&P 500, this is an important level to overcome, August 2022 highs. There is some resistance, if we continue higher from there, there is some resistance around March 2022 highs. However, I think at that point we can pretty much expect a continuation towards new all-time highs. All-time highs were set in January of 2022, right before the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So when or if we get to this new all-time highs, I have already projected this. I was criticized by several people that if we get this type of move, then what are we looking at? So once again, let's look at a very zoomed out picture, and we're gonna go, back to pandemic lows basically. So nobody is questioning this uptrend from pandemic lows up until the invasion of Ukraine. Then we had a pullback. We're now, relatively speaking, coming up on a new record highs. So if we get there, we can do a projection again. I know people don't really like projections, but we can think about what to expect. And this is a major pattern, a really huge pattern. Okay, so this is I'm going to draw it in basically. So we have a major, move up. Okay, then we had a pullback. Then once we get to the new records, we will create what's called a cup handle. We might get something like a small pullback, maybe like that. And then most likely, once we break to new records, we will continue higher. So we're looking at a depth of this pattern. Okay, depth of this pattern that started on March 3rd of 2022, bottomed out right there in October of 2022, and hopefully we will get there sometime, maybe this summer, maybe even around September or so. So we're looking at the depth of this pattern of about 1,000 points. So we're looking at S&P 500 at around 6,000 or so, sometime most likely in 2024. Okay, again, a very long-term projection. So let's look at more local, so to speak. Okay, and once again, we have very locally overcome this pattern from overcome this high from February 2nd. I'm hovering over it. Yet this is today and yesterday. This is important to understand that we are on the right track. August 2nd highs are not, August 2022 highs are not that far away. Once that happens, we will start hitting 52-week highs. This is a bullish sign. In fact, NASDAQ has exhibited exactly this type of pattern that I just described. So we have a move up from December of last year, 2022. We topped out right there 2nd of February. Okay, we pulled back. We broke out above this lip of this pattern in March of this year, right there where I'm hovering, March 29th, and now we're continuing higher. My target was relatively conservative, this move up. This is how much I said from the December into February. This was about what? About a 20% move, about 2,100 points. So once we're seeing that breakout, okay, we are already approaching the target. Actually, we're like halfway there. So very much possible that we will get for NASDAQ to around 1,500 or so sometime in June. More importantly, looking at NASDAQ, we can look at NASDAQ on the weekly chart. More importantly is the fact that these are 52-week highs. All right, we broke out this today as a 52-week high. This week, we started making 52-week highs. Okay, so notice this high from August 2022. Okay, this is a new 52-week high. All right, this is important once again because new 52-week highs breed, they continue, new and 52-week highs most likely appear. So for NASDAQ, actually, all-time highs are not even that far off. Of course, there is the highs from March that are important to overcome, but I think the bigger resistance would be at the all-time records. All-time records are 20% away. And for NASDAQ, we moved from October until now 32%. So October till May, that's how many months? November, December, January, February, March, April, like 6 months. So we moved 32% in 6 months. Can we move another 20% in another 6 months? I don't know. What do you think? Make a comment. So using my indicators to trade, we have already, this is already a unequivocal bullish signal right there. A buy signal occurred where I'm hovering on April 6th for NASDAQ. Me personally, I was already questioning the entire bearish narrative back in, even earlier, like in October. I was like, this just does not look like a bearish continuation. And I actually myself went ahead and I bought QQQ on January 20th at $280.26. It is currently at 336, so I am about 20% up on QQQ. And remember, we're also getting dividends, not a lot, but we are getting some dividends. So if you also potentially, if you bought leap options, so let's say you bought this is January of this year, if you bought, let's say, January of 2024 options, you would be up over close to 100% by now, most likely. All right, so far I am seeing quite bullish signs. This week was particularly good for large cap and especially good for technology. Russell 2000 unfortunately is lagging. So we're looking right now at Russell 2000 small caps index. It has also broke out into a new uptrend using my indicators to judge when that began. It began right there where I'm hovering on February 1st of this year, 2023. Why? Because we closed above this blue support resistance line. That's all we really needed to know. If you haven't heard, we had the Silicon Valley collapse, Silicon Valley Bank collapse, and several other bank, local lenders into March, and notice this significant selling. However, notice on this chart, this yellow support resistance line where I'm hovering, I'm clicking over it right now. Notice that we never closed below it. Several times we tried to pierce below it on March 13th, on March 20th, and then again on March 23rd and March 24th, and then again right there on 4th of May. We tried to get through that line. We failed so far, and this is to me showing that support has so far held, and we have not yet re-entered a new bear market for the small caps, and so we moved up. It's not like these, obviously this is by far the weakest of the bunch as far as between the large cap and small caps, but that doesn't mean that in the near term they will not start leading, especially because I think interest rates will be coming down pretty soon. I will show you bonds in a few minutes. So looking right now also at junk debt, high yield bonds. High yield bonds are important because of the correlations between high yield bonds and stocks. This is JNK on weekly time frame with a correlation coefficient down below here. Notice the correlations are very high. So that means that whatever the high yield bonds are doing, the stocks will generally do the same thing. Notice at currently where junk debt also broke out above this blue support resistance line, meaning that it's also in an uptrend. Latest signal was right there where I'm hovering on Friday the 31st of March. It's been trading sideways, basically trading sideways. However, I think that generally speaking, this is a bullish chart. So right now the stocks are leading junk debt. Ideally, it should be the opposite, but we don't live in an ideal world. So at least we're not completely doing opposite things. Stocks and high yield bonds are doing the same thing. They are both in an uptrend. This is what I really want to see. So this is a good sign. I will continue to keep a bullish bias on stocks, and like I said, there is a good possibility we will be hitting eventually, not in the very distant future, we'll be hitting record highs for stocks. I want to highlight a trade that we did here at MasterCharts Trading. This is IONQ. Can you am I pronouncing it right? So what is this company? This company, I found out later, I don't really care that much what they do. I do care about certain parameters when I trade, so I'd like to see at least some volume. This was relatively pretty good. 7 million is quite a bit of volume for a stock. If I'm doing what's called a breakout trade or a new uptrend, I would like to see a pattern of, like before I even turn the indicators off, I'd like to see pattern of, complete collapse, basically. So looking at this chart, sometime in the past, it was as high as $34. As recently as beginning of this year, it was trading at $2. Okay, so it basically, nobody really wanted it. It was a completely collapsed stock. Okay, notice on this chart, my indicators, that notice how far they are apart. Here, the yellow line and the green line. Even as late as November of this year, they were apart bigly. They were apart $21. Okay. Now it started to narrow. Okay, the indicator started to narrow, and eventually we had a move higher for this is the beginning of a breakout right there. I mean, it coincided with earnings. Earnings were, I mean, they beat expectations, but they were still negative. Earnings really don't matter that much for new startups. But the movement up did occur right there. I did not catch this, obviously, on the very beginning because I was really tracking it. But once the indicators, once this price came up above the blue line, this is where I became very interested. Okay, so now we have an unequivocal breakout where I'm hovering on Wednesday the 10th of May, which is just a few days ago. So once again, the risk was low. Notice how far the indicators were apart back here in November and how close they were right there just a few weeks ago. They were $3 or $4 apart versus $21 apart. So this is obviously a good thing. You want to have less risk. I went ahead and I bought on 15th of May at $7.05. Okay, notice, of course, I didn't buy at the very bottom. And are you going to be able to buy at the bottom? How do you know if it's a bottom? It used to be $32. $35. How do you know that this wasn't the bottom at $4? It got lower to $2.90. Okay, so you don't know where the bottom is. However, you can definitely tell when the stock is breaking out. So this is what we are doing. We're looking for stocks that are breaking out, and we're buying them on breakout. So I bought my stock on May 15th at $7.05. Immediately next day, it just popped higher, and then and the next day it popped even higher. So as of right now, my position is up around 27%, 28%. I'm pretty happy with it. I decided to take some money off the table. I sold a quarter of my position. Now, I actually have some subscribers that trade options. This is an optionable stock. So at the same day that I sent out an alert, some subscribers went ahead and bought options on this stock. I unfortunately don't have the exact numbers, but it very roughly 27% move on the stock, especially with this speed in 3, 4, 5 days, usually translates to about 100 or more % move on an option. So yeah, it was a very nice move, and I'm not sure we're done. I mean, we might pull back, but I think the bigger direction is up. Okay, so this is what we do. This is how we trade here at Master Charts Trading. What do you guys think? Make a comment. Have you heard about this company? What do you think about this company, IONQ? So make a comment if you have an opinion. Moving on to the dollar, I'm kind of running over here. Going to be a pretty long video. Very briefly, the dollar had a low here on February 2nd, moved higher. This is a alert to sell short the dollar. So we actually, I sent an alert to sell the dollar short here in March. It was successful. However, it bottomed out right there where I'm hovering, right around where previous lows were, and rallied. Right now we're moving up above this yellow line. I think we will continue slightly higher, most likely towards the red line, at which point it would become overbought. So the security is here. This is important. The security is in a downtrend, but it is becoming overbought. Okay, so when the security is in a downtrend and significantly overbought, by when it becomes overbought around the red line, this is going to be an opportunity to sell it short. So we will be watching closely. Most likely sometime in early June, we will see if we want to sell it short again or not. By extension, XAU divided by USD, this is gold divided by US dollar, or just gold, was just doing great. This is a 52-week highs. It approached all-time highs. Actually, it might be all-time high. Did it hit all-time high? No, not yet. We're super close to all-time highs. Now it pulled back as the dollar began to strengthen. This makes sense because it's XAU, gold divided by US dollar. A currency pair, if the lower part of this equation is moving lower, is getting bigger, it's pulling this currency pair lower. So we're moving back towards this blue support resistance line. We will be thinking about buying gold again when or if we get to this blue line. Okay. The same thing, but even bigger, happened to silver. This is XAG-USD. Yes, silver had a huge run from the lows here in March to the highs, even as early as early May here, and then the dollar strengthened significantly. We had a big move lower. So silver really overreacts. We're approaching the silver. We're approaching the blue line, which is at $22.90, $22.90. But I think we should be watching gold, and I think once gold gets to the oversold levels, which is currently at 1897, 1897, we will consider buying gold and gold-related ones. I think silver will overshoot to the downside, and we will need to see where it bottoms. So look at gold for the decision. Bitcoin has broken out into a new uptrend on February 15th, 2023. This is how easy it is to use my indicators and to determine if the security is in an uptrend. Right there, it closed above the blue line. That's all you needed to know. You can buy it at that point. If you bought it on a pullback right there on the once it pulled back and then closed above it, above the blue line on the Sunday, the 12th of March, it was a killer opportunity at 22,000 or so. If you got in, congratulations. You made it as high as 30,000. We're now pulling back towards the blue support resistance line, which is currently at 25,200. We're very close. We're about 6% away. When or if we get to that line, we will consider buying Bitcoin again for a move higher. Bitcoin is in an uptrend. Okay, so we are definitely thinking about buying it. If you are interested, thank you for watching up till now. If you are interested in signing up for my indicators or for my newsletters, go to MasterChartsTrading.com, click on sign up one of the products. I have the trading indicators, which are on this line, on this chart. You can trade pretty much on any time frame. Let's say we want to trade on 1 minute chart Bitcoin. You can do that. It's the same thing. Just make sure it's a continuous instrument. Bitcoin is a continuous instrument, so like in this case right there where I'm hovering, we will be selling it short. Okay, next few minutes we'll be selling it short. If you want the indicators, you can sign up for that. If you want the newsletter, so I send out daily alerts about the various securities we trade. For example, this week we will be covering a whole bunch of various securities. For example, copper, crude oil, natural gas will be covered in the members only section, treasury bonds, various international stocks, some of the large caps like Costco, IBM, Kraft Heinz, and some of this more speculative stocks that I've just, some of them I described. CleanSpark, Sana, Biotech, Skynexus, Snowflake, Weight Watchers, as well as gold-related like Equinox Gold, Kinross Gold, and Silver Crest Metals. So once again, if you are interested, sign up at MasterChartsTrading.com, and you can also sign up for both of my indicators and the newsletters at $59.95 per month. I think it's a great deal. Again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, make a comment on the video. If you have any, don't forget to hit the like button, of course, and share this video with others. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.